to Albina's Kitchen. This segment is dedicated to vegetarian dishes. Some can be used as vegetarian, some you can add protein to it and just have it with chicken, meat, or fish. So the first recipe we are going to do is asparagus quinoa salad. Asparagus is in season right now, so it's easy to get and they are delicious to cook. Quinoa is a grain crop, and the seeds are actually what quinoa is. They are very healthy. They're full of magnesium, iron, zinc, and they're a very good source of protein. So once you cook your quinoa, it looks like this once you cook it. It's very easy. It takes about 5-6 minutes to cook. I use the red quinoa, and I just follow the instructions. And instead of adding just all water, I put half of it, I used vegetable broth to give it more taste, because quinoa really doesn't have much taste. So once you let the liquid drain, that's what the quinoa looks like. And it's a full meal. It's very good and it's very healthy. So just follow the directions. And as I said before, just use half of it vegetable broth instead of all water to give it some taste. Once it's cooked, you can, and cooled down, you can put it in your dish. We are going to use this dish. It's a pretty color, so why not? You can sometimes mix your quinoa. You can mix it with white quinoa because there's different variety of colors. And now we are going to cut up some of our asparagus. Now these are pre-cut asparagus, but I'm gonna still cut a little bit off the end. And I'm gonna cut it in little pieces, and they cook quick. Now this is cooked. We are going to shock it in a bowl of ice cold water. That way it'll stop from cooking and getting mushier while we are assembling the rest of the salad. You can add more asparagus to your quinoa or less. It all depends on what your taste is like. So I drained the asparagus from the cold water, and we are going to add it on top of our quinoa. Okay. We are going to chop some chives. Chopping our chives, now we are going to do our basil. I layer them on top of each other like this, and I'm going to roll them just like this so it's easier to cut. And then you're going to cut small ribbons here. You can add more basil if you want. I don't want too much because basil can be strong. So I'm just going to put a little bit on top. Okay. And next we are going to slice our radishes for color and put on top, so you can just slice them really thin. Going to put our radishes on top of our salad. I used multicolor radishes, white, pink, and red, to give it even more color. And now we are going to do our dressing. We are going to use our handy mason jar, add our olive oil, our lemon juice, salt and pepper, And also, this recipe calls for Greek yogurt. Excuse me. Greek yogurt. I'm not going to use Greek yogurt in this, but you can add Greek yogurt to this and pour it on top. Instead, I'm going to actually add a little bit of wine vinegar, just a little bit, because we have lemon juice in there. And we are going to use our handy garlic clove mixture. So we'll just add one to it. Oh, might as well. I punched the other one. Might as well add another one. And here we go. Smells really good. And we are going to pour it on top. You can add more dressing if you want. You can also add feta cheese on top for color. So if you don't, this is a fat-free feta cheese. You can just add a little bit on top here. Okay, enjoy. Next, we are going to cook tofu. So you're in the same boat as I am. I've never cooked tofu before. So you have to use extra firm tofu. Make sure that it doesn't get mushy. And tofu, it has a lot of protein and a lot of magnesium and calcium. You can add it to all your salad if you don't want to add meat or chicken to it. Right now I heated up the oven to 375. Once I open this, here's the tofu. You drain it and we're going to go ahead and cut it. Make it in smaller cubes because you don't want it too big in your salads. Now I'm going to cut this in half as well. And we're going to warm up our frying pan and we're going to fry these a little bit. Now we are going to season our tofu because tofu really doesn't taste like anything. I'm going to use a Mediterranean seasoning. I could not find any Italian seasoning, so this is the best next thing. Anything Mediterranean tastes good anyways. And I'm going to add some pink salt crystals. And mix it. Make sure all the sides have seasoning, and then we're going to fry it. And if you need to add a little bit more, we will. Okay, now join me at the stove. Make sure all the sides are brown before you take them off. Once the tofu is browned on each side, we're going to put it in the oven for 375 for about 15 minutes until it's firm and golden brown. So I'm going to put it in this dish once I'm ready and put it in there, and then when we take it out, all we have to do is add basil and we're ready to go. So this is done. I'm going to pour just a little, I was going to add just a little bit of olive oil. It just became a little bit too much. And I'm going to put it in the oven for about 10 to 15 or until it's golden brown. You want it a bit crispy. And so next time I see you, you'll see the finished product. Here is your tofu. It kind of looks like croutons, kind of, sort of. It's not as hard, but you can hear it. It's kind of crunchy. You can add basil to it if you want or not. But the main thing is, if you're having a salad, you can add this in there. If you like them crunchier, leave them in the oven longer to make it as crunchy as you want. Enjoy! Welcome back. So we are going to do a broccoli salad with a yogurt dressing. I already took some broccoli and I cut them in small pieces, washed them. So we're just going to add them here. And we are going to add a little bit of cranberries. You can use raisins too if you want, but I like cranberries. And a little bit of pecans. You can do walnuts or almonds. I like pecans, and these are roasted and unsalted. So I'm gonna add some. This is like a 5-minute salad. It's really not gonna take you long. And we have some apples that I cleaned and cut. So we're gonna cut these in small pieces. As you can see, the colors are beautiful already. If you want, you can add cauliflower to it too, if you like cauliflower, or just keep it as broccoli. So we added our apples, the pecans, cranberry, and now we're gonna add a little bit of onions. I'm gonna do red onions because it looks pretty. Or you can do sweet onions if you want. Make sure you slice them really thin. Our salad is done. We just need to make the dressing. Here is my Greek yogurt, non-fat. Basically what you want to make it into is the consistency of a mayo. So we're going to pour it in our dish. Add our salt and pepper. And we are going to add our red wine vinegar. I'm gonna mix this thing. This is how the dressing looks like. So it's the consistency of mayo. I would say put it on top of your dressing, salad, whenever you're ready, about maybe 20 minutes before you serve it, and just mix it in. Or you can put it aside and have people just serve themselves. Enjoy. The last salad we are going to make is a French salad, and it's similar to a Cobb salad, American Cobb salad. It's called Niçoise salad. It's not spelled that way, but it's pronounced Niçoise. It's very simple. You just arrange the ingredients on a plate, and people can take as much as they want, or they can mix it together. It's pretty presentation. So what we're going to start out with is either baby lettuce, you can do a mixed arugula, you can do spinach, you can basically try anything. This is for the bed of our salad. Gosh, I love these bags. Don't have to wash anything. Okay. Now we are going to start out with tuna. So I got the white tuna in water because it's less calories than having the oil. I'm going to start out basically separating them in the container and pouring them on the side. You can add more or less tuna, and you can put tuna on both sides of the salad to make it look pretty. But for these purposes, I'm only going to put it on one side of the salad. Okay, then I have washed and cut some potatoes that I just boiled. I'm going to arrange them this way, but I'm probably going to cut them a little bit smaller. It's a bit big. So we're just gonna layer it on top of each other. You can also take the potatoes ahead of time and pour some olive oil and some salt and pepper on top and then arrange it this way. Next is our onions. Some people pickle their onions before they put it on there, but I don't see a need for that. As you can see, it's starting to look very pretty. Okay, so we're done with our onions. We are going to take some tomatoes and cut, these are cherry tomatoes, and cut them in half. So we have our tomatoes. We're going to put some green beans that it's frozen green beans that I cooked. Okay, it's not working with just a spoon. Okay. And next we are going to add some eggs. A lot of the prep you can do ahead of time, so that's why this is easier to do. Maybe earlier in the morning you can cook some of the stuff and just put it aside until you're ready. As the French say, voila! Now we're ready to do the dressing. I cut up a little bit of shallots in here, and I'm going to use the food processor instead of chopping it in small pieces. And I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil so it will work better. I'm going to add the rest of my olive oil, my lemon juice, and my salt and my pepper. A little bit of wine vinegar. And a little bit of Dijon mustard. Okay, let's mix them together. I'm going to add a little bit of basil to this. Not much, but a little bit. Our dressing is ready in our mason jar, and I did forget to put my Kalamata olives, so we are going to put them, let's see, where would they look better. We'll put them right here. Now this salad is ready to go. You can pour the dressing on top, or you can leave it and have people just pour it on top of their dishes. But it's beautiful, it's very healthy, so bon appetit. And now we are going to do a healthy version of carrot muffins. To start out with, we are going to add our sugar. And what I did is that I poured half sugar and then the other half monk fruit sugar substitute, which is really just a dehydrated monk fruit, and it's much better than sugar. But we are going to try half and half. And we are going to add our oil to it. We are going to add our corn oil to this, or any oil that you use. And I'm putting half of the oil because I'm going to then add unsweetened applesauce. And the way it works is that you can put half if your recipe calls for, let's say, 1 cup of oil, then you will have half a cup of oil and the other half would be unsweetened applesauce. So we are going to beat this. We are going to add our eggs. Now we are going to add our applesauce. And our cinnamon. I swifted some flour. I'm going to add baking soda, baking powder, and salt. And the reason I added in my dry mixture is because so it'll all mix up before we put it in our wet ingredients. We're almost done. We're just going to add a little bit of vanilla and our shredded carrots and our pecan or walnut. We can toss it if we want, or we can use the mixer, doesn't matter. It smells really good, and it's not baked yet. We preheated our oven to 350, and now we're going to fill up our muffin dish. We're ready to put it in the oven. You should cook it probably for about an hour to hour 15 minutes, but make sure you insert the toothpick in there and that it comes out clean, so that means they are cooked. I'm going to put these here, and I will see you again when these are done. Welcome back. We have our muffins out of the oven and it's all cooled, so I took the wrappers off and I put it in this dish. Now we're going to work on our icing. For this, I'm using the light cream cheese, which is here, and it's still cold. I'm adding some powdered sugar, a little bit of vanilla, and start mixing. If you need more cream cheese, then of course you're gonna use double batch, but for this purposes, we're just gonna use this. Here's my piping bag. Cream cheese all over my hand. Okay. Now remember, this is the healthy version. Cream cheese frosting, the carrot cake, everything is the healthy version. Now to make it look prettier, I'm going to add a little bit of cinnamon. A little bit of our dried pecan, roasted pecan. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this video, and all the recipes will be in the description. So enjoy, and we'll wait to see you next time.